Good morning, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Hope that you guys are doing okay. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps keep the video in the algorithm. So make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of those great things. You all, I am getting on here early this morning. I wanted to definitely do a video on young Dolph. Today is his birthday. I've been missing in action for the last few days. I have been out of town. Um, of course, my birthday is coming up in a few days. Also, so I'll be up in the air again. Okay, but I wanted to talk about young Dolph. Okay, first of all, it's his birthday. We always represent for him on his birthday. Definitely a Memphian that should not be forgotten. Was definitely taken away from his life because of hate. A bunch of bottom feeders took him away from his life. I don't care how much money they can have uh, or don't have. As it relates to the people that was involved, they are still bottom feeders. We see now people are really um I guess measured not based on their character anymore, but just kind of based on what it is that they have. They don't have to have any character. They could be like YOGOTTI, send hits on people like Young Dolph because they are jealous of them, and you have still have some damn fools that will exalt them, like just as if they are God because they feel like they got some money. And unfortunately, when people don't have character, they weren't raised around character, raised to have character, raised with people that's got character, raised to have go get their own shit. They weren't raised to not to worship Baal, because y'all know that's why God got at the children of Israel. They wanted to they wanted to worship other gods. They wanted to prop up certain things and worship that. Okay, this is the type of stuff that we see with people who basically, unfortunately, a lot of them are mentally unstable, but they just weren't raised right. I'm beginning to understand that. Just because I mean I was raised up in the hood until I was almost 13 years old, right? So I saw a lot of stuff. And even when I left the hood, I had family that was still in the hood. But even when I was living in the hood, I was raised in the hood, but I was not of the hood. Okay. And so I was raised in another surrounding, right? But even still, when I was growing up in the projects, I was taught to have respect. I was still taught values, right? There was still things, believe it or not, a lot of people in the projects was like that, right? That's why it's like a shock to me when I see a bunch of old motherfuckers that's my age. Cause I go, dog, we come from another era. So I know we were coming around the 80s and stuff, 70s and 80s and early 90s and like 90, 91. We saw stuff differently. We were kind of taught differently. Even if you had parents that were on drugs and stuff, you still had grandmama or somebody to instill something in you. But so it's a shock to me when you see these old ass bitches. Okay, that's pathetic, right? I was looking at something the other day. I was looking at a show that was talking about Yo Gotti, and they know what Yo Gotti did to Young Dolph was messed up. But I guess they feel like, well, Yo Gotti, he a CEO. That's the reason why God ain't blessing these men like they are supposed to be blessed. Because see, the order is God, and then God covers the man, right? Um, God covers the man who is supposed to be the head of the household. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. We don't see that a lot, but that's how it's supposed to be. He gets his orders directly from God, and that comes through meditation and prayer and fasting and all of that. And then the man covers the women and the children, right? All of that has changed. Okay. And so that's why I say you gotta be righteous. Because you hear me, I serve the Lord. Okay, bitch, you don't serve no Lord, especially if you all ain't calling out what's wrong. Well, I did that because I respect him for what he did. Motherfucker, this dude went and had another man killed, messed up a bunch of young messed up folks like Straight Drop, who was already misled. Okay, got his brother involved in this stuff. His older brother. These dudes is pathetic. Okay, I don't care how you have older folks that's manipulated all of the time. Okay, and it seemed like to me, based on what people say, Yo Gotti has always been able to use people in his as a pawn. That's why he ain't never had to get his hands dirty, right? And so you got folks still comparing this man. You know, he beating young Dolph. He beating he beating Vapor Route. You know, I get so ashamed of some of these people in my city sometimes, because they'll say, well, you know, she a woman, she over there talking about that stuff. F you. F you. Okay. What you could do is you could stay off my page, because it's a darn shame. That's why I say the order, because no righteous man is supposed to, first of all, they supposed to make sure Yo Gotti took young Dolph from his life and his family and his children, most importantly his children, okay, his life, everything he's built, all of the people that loved him. We ain't supposed to be, Yo Gotti ain't supposed to be getting support. Nothing he do is supposed to be supported. Okay, that's how we teach people that you don't do that. Okay, that makes the record labels and stuff. Okay, we can't loan him no 100 million, because he ain't gonna be able to pay it back. Because ain't nobody, I don't care how many 360 deals he put these damn fools like Glorilla in, ain't nobody gonna buy her music, and so he ain't gonna be able to pay us back. So we can't make him our slave, because he ain't gonna be no good slave. Okay, because ain't nobody gonna support him. Okay, that's how we're supposed to do people that do things like what the pull the shit that Yo Gotti and them pull. Okay, but instead you'll have stupid. That's the reason why a lot of these women don't respect these men, and I'm one of them. When I see a good man, I sure be respecting him. I go, that's a good man, y'all. Leave him alone. Okay, I might not like him, but he got some values that is extinct. Leave him alone. I don't like him because he ain't my cup of tea. But leave that brother alone. Okay, that's a good brother though. Okay, that's a good brother. All right. Everybody, just because you don't like a person don't mean that they ain't good. Now, don't mean that they ain't good people. It just means that you all don't jail. Okay, but you can't take away that brother got character. But instead, what you see is you'll see folks getting on here after this man has pulled what he pulled on this brother that's supposed to be here for his birthday. Okay, because of his jealousy, Orange Mound Quet and them all did. Okay, participating in doing this to this brother. So what you'll see is people saying, well, she just hating on God. She don't want to see a man eat. You motherfuckers is sick. That's the reason why a lot of women don't respect these damn men. Okay, because this man take this brother from his family, and then you'll fix your rotten mouth. Okay, to sit up and say I'm hating as a woman. She don't want to see Yo Gotti eat. No, he's supposed to. The same thing he did to young Dolph is gonna come up on him. I ain't got a heaven or hell to put him in, but the laws of the earth said it's gonna happen anyways. But it's a darn shame that people prop folks up. They ain't learned. Okay, they say they serve God, but they don't. I guess they don't know their Bible. Okay, they prop folks right back up that ain't got no character. Okay, to send out bad energies into the atmosphere that you can go and kill your competition, because they got all kinds of excuses of why they killed him. But the bottom line is the bitches was jealous. Help me, somebody. They was jealous. And so I could never respect somebody. And then they still compete with him. But Yo Gotti, God says, when I get him back, you gonna witness it. We already witnessing it. Okay, we already is. We've seen what has happened. Okay, to some of the people that you have used, right? But you gonna get it back, and I ain't got to wish it. Those are just the laws of the earth. I don't wish nothing on nobody. Okay, but for them to leave me the hell alone, right? I wish have a good life and all that, but you can't have no good life because you didn't do that right. You came up off of the back of hurt and pain that two young children have to constantly be in counseling, and his woman has to constantly, she's been left to pick up the pieces, you motherfucker. A black woman, just like the slave masters left a lot of black women to pick up the pieces when they took their children away from them, when they made them see their husbands, they would tie them to horses and make the horses go in different ways and rip the black men apart to put fear in their women so that they can have their way, you black motherfucker. And you would go and take and do the same thing that the slave masters did, bitch ass nigga, because you couldn't control your jealousy. Okay, help me somebody. I ain't going easy on you today. And so I see a lot of black men that's got that same mentality. A black woman having to pick up the pieces, Miss Diane having to pick up the pieces of a child she gave birth to. YOGOTTI thought that he was God, and he sent them stupid bastards to go and pay them and still paying them to take his life. That's how bothered he was with young Dolph. He wanted to play God. Young Dolph came from Adolph Sr. and Miss Diane. God gave him to him. YOGOTTI ain't have no parts of that, and he ain't got no heaven or hell to put him in, and he sure didn't have no business playing God, using his money that the people help him to get, the people that supported him help him to get, and still trying to support the killers behind the scenes. Okay, I'm mad this morning, okay, because every time I think about this boy supposed to be here for his children, just like any other these bitch ass niggas that's sitting up supporting it and making excuses. Who wanted to be here more for their child than Hernandez Govan? All he talked about was Nicholas, and he should be there for his son, but young Dolph should be there for his kids too. All these motherfuckers that sit up and talk about their kids, they were so jealous of this man, they didn't want to see him with his because they was jealous of what he had. Help me somebody. YOGOTTI had the talent to have whatever it is that he got now, and that's an illusion, okay? But he couldn't see past that jealousy and that hate, okay? And now he feel, oh, I won. God won. He beaten Dolph. He fouled out. He put his competition in his grave. Okay. A lot of people don't want to say it, but I will. We know he did it. Okay. Because they're cowards and they ain't righteous. And that's the reason why God is whooping on a lot of these men. And he going to keep whooping on them until they get it right. Okay. Now look at young Dolph with his daughter, his twin. Okay. He's there with his baby girl. They said young Dolph had 100 properties and would buy a home for his children every year. Okay, I'm sure Gotti might be doing that now because, see, he wanted to copy the blueprint. He couldn't stand to see this brother. Okay, look at him with his son. He couldn't stand to see his brother. Now his son is left to pick up the pieces looking just like his dad. Okay, got a lot of features of his dad. Okay. And you look at, he got his dad's eyes, but you look at him, I'm sure he's old enough to look at stuff as it relates to what they was doing to his dad. It constantly shooting on him. But God says, when I get your ass back, you gonna witness it. You gonna pay. And all these motherfuckers that sitting up, God is God. He can't get around God. And that's the reason why they can't elevate, because they worship him in Baal. I know he's a man with flesh and blood running through his damn veins, just like me. You bitches worship him. I don't. That's the reason why I can sit on here and tell the truth. And I got a real God backing me. And he ain't got no flesh and blood running through his veins like what y'all worship. That's the reason why I can talk like I talk, because I'm protected by the real God. Okay. Look at him with his son. Okay. I don't know if this is a AI picture or whatever, but he loved his kids. All right. He had his son with him. And the motherfuckers thought that they had a right. He had to say, why young Dolph get the Gucci and Gucci and Chanel his son up? Yeah, God should have killed him because I'm sorry and pitiful. I can't do it. sitting up hating on another man and glad for his downfall, which is why a lot of these mofos can't come up, and God it wouldn't piss in a lot of their mouths if it was on fire. Okay. He already trying to get away from a lot of them. Okay, this when he was all down in Houston, gave away a Lamborghini. Okay, that's him and his wife. That's him with his new baby. Okay, he would be 41 years old today. His little girl was just born. He there, a black man doting over his child, and then you have the same motherfuckers that get out looting and they Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter until you can't take it, until your jealousy don't want a black man rising up because you ain't got the brain to do what he did, instead of getting somewhere and trying to figure out how to do it. God, you was the one that signed them damn 360 deals. Hell, don't get mad at Dolph because he figured out the recipe. Should have been trying to get with him. That's him with a black queen. He doted on chocolate women. Okay. He said the other same thing about the girl that he signed. I can't think of her name because she was so disgusted. When he was killed, I think she just kind of took a break. He said I signed her because she was a dark skinned fine sister. Okay. He wasn't a self-hater. Okay, his mother was a chocolate. His mother is a chocolate beauty. So he went against. He defied all that industry shit. Where the closer you are to white, the better you are. Now I'm gonna represent this melanin. Y'all know how much the reason why a lot of black folks go missing, because a lot of these freaks are making them go missing to get the melanin out of their skin. It's liquid gold. Okay, that brother understood. Okay, that the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. That melanin gold and how much it goes for. Okay. And I ain't saying nothing bad about nobody else. I'm just telling you, in a time where people have been taught to self-hate, that brother understood and wasn't scared to represent and really say it, because people say it all the time, but they don't represent Black is beautiful. That's a chocolate man himself, and I think he's beautiful. Okay, he's beautiful, chocolate, tall, and handsome, very desirable. Okay. That's him right here, there when he was younger. That's him when he was a little boy. He had started making that money. That's him with his crew. That's Moochie Great right there behind him. Doing his thing, and it all ended right here. They went to a Black business, okay? And they in the Black community, and they decided that I still get to wondering who was it that told Straight Drop make sure he don't come out. Not only was it about, because they wasn't even pay that little money that they gave them, okay, and it was more than 100K, but it still wasn't enough to take this billionaire out, because he was gonna be that, right? But even more than money, it was jealousy. Okay, people try to and I kind of believe for Cornelius, it had everything to do with the little money that they gave him, because he's the only one that was mentally messed up on drugs, and because he thought he was going to be able to buy a house for $40,000. This is how cracked out Cornelius was. Okay, so he was really sick on drugs for real. I think he was the only one that it wasn't no jealousy. But as far as Straight Drop, Hernandez, Govan, Juke, Gotti, all the rest of them that was involved, Head, all of Zach, all of them, okay, it was absolutely jealousy and want him out of the way, because they wanted to duplicate what he was doing, but in another way, because they artists ain't independent. He was the real independent. That's why I say he's still the damn king. Okay. Anyways, you guys, y'all know we're gonna tonight we're gonna get on. I got to get ready so that I can what time is it? I got to get in the shower at 7:05. So I got to get in the shower. Okay. So I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.